I was in Amsterdam the other day, and at the duty free in Schiphol, or however that airport is called, I found several Ardbegs. But how are you, dear friends of Talking About Whiskey, your favorite whiskey channel? My name is Eduardo, and here we are again in Madrid, the capital of Spain, to make a new interesting video about the world of whiskey. As I always say, why are we going to make a video here that isn't about whiskey on a channel that is all about whiskey? So, what do we have today? Well, we have one of those absurd whiskeys. Ardbeg Smoke Trails. There you have it. It's a duty-free whiskey. I bought it while I was traveling. Fortunately, I don't have to travel too much, although lately I've had to a bit more. The pandemic is over, all that is over, so now I have to travel for work from time to time. I was in Amsterdam the other day, and at the duty free in Schiphol, whatever that airport is called, I found several Ardbegs. I think they are travel exclusive or something like that, but the truth is that it's a big bottle of 1 liter and it's a whiskey, sorry. Our friend is here, and it's a whiskey that is truly strange because look, it doesn't declare an age, man. Be quiet for a bit, dude. I can't make the video. It has 46% alcohol by volume, unchill filtered, and I believe also without coloring, but I can't say. However, I think if it doesn't state anything, then initially yes. And look, this is a pairing of Cote Rotie wine and ex-bourbon casque. So I realized that these bottles of Cote Rotie wine, yes, the Extravels exclusive Cote Rotie wine, are from French casks located in the southeastern area. Well, practically south. To put it one way, a little towards the east of France. You can see it there. I am not a great connoisseur of wines at all. Well, I am not a great connoisseur of anything, but even less so when it comes to wines. And, well, it caught my attention. It had this and other mock trails that were finished in Manzanilla wine. If I'm not mistaken, it's Spanish wine, but well, since we always have a lot of Spanish wine, luckily we have access to a lot of Spanish wine here and a lot of whiskey aged in Spanish wine. But I was a bit tired of Spanish wine, so I said, look, I'm going to buy this and just look at this bottle. It's something insane. Well, 46% of Ultimate Islay Single Malt Scotch Whiskey, Cote Rotie Edition, Ponchy Peat, grilled pepper and smoked fruit. Well, let's take a look at what it brings us. I was watching, and these Cote Rotie wines from this area or denomination are characterized by being very, very fruity. It didn't give me the impression that it was either too dry or too sweet, but rather very fruity, with flavors of raspberries and others. So, well, I bought it, and here we have it, right? It cost me $95 for 1 liter, so it comes out to $1 per centiliter, because there are 100 centiliters. Or if not, 100 centiliters or 100 mil. I mean, I don't know if they are centiliters or milliliters. I always get confused. It's 70. It's 100 milli. So each milliliter basically costs 1. Considering that a glass holds about 2 or so, or 3 ml, what is usually served is 2 or 3. So each little glass comes out to 3. So man, an Ardbeg, which are usually very good whiskies, I bought it for the price, and because it was Ardbeg, because you know, if it costs $95, I say an Ardbeg of 101, a 700 ml bottle would be around $70, not reaching 68 or 69. So for a special edition and such in this type of whiskey, I consider that to be quite a good price. There is already a very interesting smell of smoke here. I consider it a quite reasonable price for an Ardbeg of these characteristics. Well, let's see what we find on the nose with this Smoke Trails. I have seen this whiskey. It seems to me, I don't know if it's relatively new, I don't know if it's a travel exclusive, but it's a whiskey that I've seen out there on some occasions as a bit of a collector's item. Let's see what we find on the nose here. This wonderful whiskey is incredibly fruity on the nose, fruity, cereal, bread. There is a note. It is very sweet, tremendously sweet on the nose. Iodine, toasted notes, burnt, barbecue. It is tremendous. The alcohol integration is very good. The burnt note is very abundant on the nose and very pleasant. It is clearly an Ardbeg. I mean, there is no way to hide it in any way. Interesting wood notes as well. The note from this type of wood is ex-bourbon, meaning the blend is a pairing between ex-bourbon and Cote Rotie. In my opinion, the wine leans a bit more towards what is ex-bourbon and the characteristic notes of an Ardbeg 1. An Ardbeg Young reminds me quite a bit of Whisky, but it is true that it has some notes of dark fruit, red fruit, and there is indeed a lot of coconut, a lot of banana, and a lot that is somewhat like mango. It is extremely tropical and reminds me a lot of Whisky from my perspective, but it is true that it has a slightly under-fermented note, a somewhat sulfurous and also different note, oxygenated, very fresh. There are also some slightly floral notes, some lavender, and a bit of earthiness. It is wonderful on the nose, tremendously salty, maritime, and iodine-like. Well, 100% Ardbeg on the nose, okay? There's no hiding this whiskey. Let's see on the palate. Very rich on the nose. Cheers. A little simpler and more straightforward than on the nose. The notes of smoke, iodine, toasted notes, and barbecue notes appear. There is a kind of date, fig, that type of fruit, a bit like that. It is a little dry, a bit astringent, slightly bitter, but truly rich and interesting. Wow, truly pleasant whiskey. In my opinion, it is not the best whiskey I have tasted by far. It seems to me to be a powerful, intense, strong whiskey. It reminds me a lot of the Wee Beastie. I believe I don't know what the aging is, but it is certainly a quite young whiskey. Yes, you can definitely notice it on the palate. There is a kind of fruit. There are some fruits. There is something there that must be due to the influence of the wood, right? Because on the palate, it loses a bit of that typical sweetness from the ex-bourbon, right? That typical sweetness of bananas, of vanilla. The pure sweetness is a little more astringent and dry than normal for being an Ardbeg. That is totally true. Let's add a few drops of water because the smoky whiskies from Islay, especially those from Ardbeg, tend to generate quite noticeable changes when combined with water. Let's see a little of what we find here. It becomes much more floral, much smoother on the nose. There is a lot of leather, a lot of cereal, a lot of malt, and a lot of wood. I'm heavier. I need to go on a diet. I've been gaining weight here. I've been very reckless for a couple of months. I stopped running for a month because it was destroying my nails. And I think I've easily gained 3 or 4 kilos with this sedentary lifestyle we're leading. I'm going to roll a joint. I have to go on a diet. Come on. It happens that making whiskey videos is complicated. But well, if you want to, you can. Very interesting on the nose. With water, it becomes a little more Ardbeg, a little more leaning towards bourbon. Very tasty. The truth is that it smells really good. On the palate, it seems a bit simpler than usual for an Ardbeg, but it is very delicious. Wow. Very interesting. A really good Ardbeg. Look, as always happens to me with all Ardbegs, for me the best Ardbeg by far is the 10, followed by the Wee Beastie and then the others. So this one, of all the Ardbegs I have tried, in my opinion, is a bit the least impressive, because despite those peculiar woods it has, it honestly doesn't say much more to me than a 10. But without a doubt, it is an intense whiskey, it is a powerful whiskey, it is a true Ardbeg, and it is a whiskey that if you can find it, and I would say if you like smoke and prefer to have few whiskeys and you travel, then this little 1 liter bottle is great. If you are a moderate drinker, well, you can buy a 1 liter bottle and it will last you a long time, and it is a good whiskey, a good Ardbeg. But for me, it is not the best, of the Ardbegs I have tried. Well, ladies and gentlemen, more like gentlemen because I insist. We have 2 viewers, I believe. I think we have 2 female followers because that's how they declared themselves when they signed up. They have created their user account on YouTube. The rest, 99.9999%. You are all guys. So I send you a big hug. Have a great time. Always remember, always drink in moderation. Be very happy because that is the most important thing, as I say. And hey, since you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff that helps us a lot. Well, now you know a new Ardbeg. Have a great time, and we'll see you in the next video talking about whiskey if you want. Of course, be very happy. See you soon. Bye. Best regards.